Hi, my name is Marisol Ngora, and here is my final persuasive speech on why flag football should be a D1 sport and why players should be paid. Alright, picture this. You train several days a week, you travel for competitions, and you proudly wear your school name on your jersey. You dedicate hours of your life to represent this team that you just grew apart on and all that type of stuff. But unlike other athletes, you don't get the scholarship you want to get, or they don't pay you enough money to the point where you still have to pay a couple grand out of your pocket. You don't get paid, and your sport is even recognized as an NCAA Division I sport. That's the reality for flag football players right now. Flag football is one of the fastest growing sports in the country, even going to in the 2028 Olympics. But in college athletes, it's still treated like an afterthought. Today I wanted to share why flag football should be a D1 NCAA sport, why players should deserve fair pay, and why schools need to invest more in the sport. First, we'll talk about the problem, the lack of recognition, the pay, and the resources. Then I'll share the solution that can change that. The problem, there are three main issues holding flag football back. First, there's no NCAA recognition, D1 recognition. Right now, the NAIA recognizes women's flag football sport as a varsity sport, but the NCAA doesn't. Without D1 status, there's no national championship structure, no big scholarships, and fewer opportunities for players that compete at the highest level. Second, there's little to no pay. The NCAA allows athletes to make money through NIL, name, image, and likeness deals, but most of the deals go to the sports like football, basketball, or gymnastics. Flag football players often pay out of pockets to travel, for the uniforms, for the gear, and all that type of stuff. According to Sports Business Journal in 2023, this lack of financial support pushes talented athletes away from the sport. Then the third and final reason is their lack of resources and attention. Some schools give flag football tiny budgets, minimal stuff, and poor facilities. Without media coverage or marketing, the sport stays hidden. That's a huge loss because the interest is already there. USA Football reports that girls flag football participation grew over 40% between 2018 and 2022. If we don't fix this, we're risking losing a bunch of talented athletes and the sport's momentum. Here's the solution. Here's how we're going to fix it. First, we make it a D1 sport. This would bring scholarships and stronger recruitment and structured national championship. And with the Olympics including flag football in 2028, the timing couldn't be better. Second, pay the players. I'm not saying $1 million contracts or full ride or anything like that, but scholarships, small stimpedes, and real NIL opportunities would make sure athletes aren't paying to play, that they're just playing, they're going to school and playing on what they want to do instead of paying a school like 10 grand just to go play for a little bit or not even guarantee spot. Third, invest in the sport. That means better facilities, professional coaching, and real promotion. If fans know about the games, they'll show up, and that builds long-term support and for the program. Let's address the opposite views. Some people say that flag football isn't as big as other sports, but every sport starts somewhere. Women's soccer wasn't huge in NCAA until 1990s. Now it's one of the most competitive sports in college. The same growth is possible for flag football. Others say budgets are already tight, but new sports can bring in money through scholarships, ticket sales, and partnerships, especially since the NFL is already promoting flag football at the youth, age, and international levels. Let's recap now. Flag football is growing fast. It's getting Olympic recognition, and it has the talent to thrive at the highest level. But without D1 status, fair pay, and real investment, it's getting held back. The NCAA can change this. Schools can provide scholarships and pay their athletes what they need to get paid, and give the sports the facilities they need and the coaching status they need. And fans, which are like me and you, or like other people that are watching, can support it by showing up to the games and watching and spreading the word. If Olympics are ready to put flag football on the world stage, it's time for our colleges to do the same. Let's make it D1, let's pay the players, let's support a sport that's ready to break through and it's ready to show its true colors and all of the above. Thank you.